All right, gang, let's look at our 5.5b notes, use triangle inequalities. Let's go through the practice problems in case you're having trouble with your homework. To remind you of what our goals are for this lesson, remember it was to know if a triangle can be possible with three given numbers. What I would like you to do is pause your video right now and jump down to the bottom of the page, and let's go through some practice problems for this section. All right, for these practice problems, we're going to be talking about triangle sides. And what we want to do is we want to look at these triangles and figure out if they make, look at these numbers and figure out if they make triangles. It says, do the lengths make a triangle? So if I'm giving you the numbers 3, 4, and 6, will that make a triangle? Remember we talked in the lesson that the sum of the two smallest sides must be more than the largest side. So in this case, I'm going to say that 6 is my biggest number. So I'm going to be comparing my 3 and 4 to the 6. And I want the 3 and 4 to be larger. And it turns out that 7 is larger than 6. So does this make a triangle? Yes, that makes a triangle. When we look at question B, now we're looking at the numbers 10, 2, and 6. And again, all we're doing is comparing sides. The two smallest have to be more than the largest. So when you're looking at your problem, know that you are always looking for the largest number to compare to the two smallest. Not the last number, not the first number, but the largest number. So I'm going to take the 2 and the 6 and compare it to the 10. And when I take 2 plus 6, I get 8. And the question is 8 more than 10? And the answer is no, it is not. That is not a triangle. When I look at C, again, I'm looking at the three numbers, and I need to find the largest number and compare it to the other two numbers. So I'm going to take the 3 and the 5, compare it to the 8. And when I add 3 and 5 together, I get 8. So is 8 larger than 8? And the answer is no, it's exactly equal. So again, we have no triangle. The two smaller sides must be more than the larger side. So question D is interesting, because in question D, we actually don't have the third side. And so the question is, what could that be? And a couple things to think about. Is there more than one answer? And we need to find out what number could that be. So remember, I don't know about that, but if I were to just guess something, for example, could this number be 15? And the question is 2 plus 8 more than 15? And no, it is not. It's not more than. So what could that number be? In fact, maybe I ask, could that number be 10? And so could I put a 10 here? And the answer is, no, I can't put a 10 there either, because it actually has to be more than. So it can't be a 10, but could it be a 9? And is 10 more than 9? Yep. Could it be an 8? Is 10 more than 8? Yeah. And how small could it be? Could it be anything that I want? Well, let's even try this 3. Could it be a 3? Now when I have that, now my largest side is the 8, and I have to compare the 2 and the 3. Is 2 plus 3 more than 8? And the question is, no, it's not. 5 is not more than 8. So I go back and I take out the 3. Could it be a 4? Is 2 plus 4 more than 8? Nope, it's a 6. Could it be a 5? Is 2 plus 5 more than 8? Nope. Could it be a 6? Is 2 plus 6 more than 8? No, in fact, it's equal to 8. So the only numbers I have are 9, 8, and 7. And actually, I have to include all of the numbers in between there. So there's a whole range of numbers that third side could be. And remember, we talked in our notes that to find that range of numbers, all we had to do was add and subtract the 2 and the 8. Remember, 2 plus 8 equals 10. That was the largest number that it can't be. And when I subtract them, 8 minus 2 is 6, and 6 is the smallest number that it can't be. It's everything between 10 and 6. So from there, what I would like you to do is pause, and we will jump to page 2 and practice some problems that deal with these examples. All right. In these examples, we will be finding the third side that makes our problem true. So when we look at this problem right here, it says, find the range of the third side of the triangle. Remember, this is where we have to add and subtract our numbers to find that range. So it says, what is the range of the third side if the given sides are 8 and 15? So the two numbers we have in our problem are 8 and 15. We need to find the range of the third side. And in our notes, we just said that you have to add those two numbers and subtract those two numbers to find the range. 15 plus 8 is 23, and 15 minus 8 is 7. That tells me that my third side must be between 7 and 23. I can write that as a sentence. Or I can write that as a mathematician and use my less than symbols. And that tells me that the third side x is between 7 and 23. Again, looking at question B, it says, what is the range of the third side if the given sides are 1 and 12? Remember, all we need to do is take these two numbers and add them and subtract them, and that will give us the range of the third side. It has to be between 11 and 13. Any number in that range is okay. It cannot be 11, it cannot be 13, but it could be 11.1 or 12.99. Over here on the left side, something to think about. It says which two sides are the most important when we're dealing with these kinds of problems. The two most important sides are the longest and the shortest sides. And why are they the most important? Because those are the sides you must add and you must subtract to find your range. Let's move on to our last question, or our last problem that we have to work out here. For this question, it says, find the range for the value of x for the third side to make a figure a triangle. And in this case, we don't know how to find that range, or we don't know which numbers are the longest and the shortest. But all we need to do is take these two guys and add them and subtract them, 21 and 3, and that gives us the range of this third side. I know that 4x plus 1 must be between 3 and 21. And then from there, we just have to solve this. This is like a double equation. You're working only with your inside part right here. You want to get rid of the 1, so I have to do it to both sides. 2, 4x, and 20. And then I have to divide out the 4. And I get 1/2 less than x less than 5. If x equals any number between 1/2 and 5, this guy right here will fall between 3 and 20. These are the values that will work for my inequality. What I would like you to do now is to pause your video and set up the next 2 questions, and I will show you, help you make sure that you got them right. All right, for these next 2 questions, before we get started, I want you to pay attention to the left side of your page here. It says, how do you know which sides are the longest and the shortest? And then the question is, does it really matter? And in this case, it does not really matter. If you know 2 of the sides, those are the sides that you will be adding or subtracting to set up your inequality. So let me get these written and we will check your work. All right, for D, the 2 numbers that we have right here are the 14 and then the 9. So those are the 2 numbers that you will be adding and subtracting. So I do 14 plus 9 equals 23, and 14 minus 9 equals 5. And then from there, all I have to do is put this side between those 2 numbers, and I end up with something that looks like that. 5x minus 2 falls between 5 and 23. Those 2 numbers right there. Again, I look at letter E. The 2 numbers that I have are the 11 and the 5. So those are the 2 numbers that I need to add and subtract. So I add 11 plus 5, you get 16, and subtract them. 11 minus 5 equals 6. And then I take my third side, 3x minus 4, and simply stick it in between my 6 and my 16. 3x minus 4 must be between 6 and 16. Solving that will help me get to my answer for that question. These are for sure questions that you want to study for the test. These will come up as something that you need to finish. So make sure that you practice those in your homework. If you have questions, we can talk in class tomorrow. Good luck.